green at the bottom.
Okay, I want to welcome everyone to the January 4th, 2019 regular meeting of the Abingdon Town Council, and I hope all of you all have a happy new year, and thank you for coming. We appreciate your interest. You must not have a lot to come to the council meeting on Saturday. But anyway, we're glad you're here. Kim, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Bradley?
Here.
Ms. Quetch?
Here.
Mr. Webb?
Here.
Ms. Patterson?
Here.
And Mayor Craig?
Here. The next item on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance, and Donna Quick is going to lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, council, we have 4 sets of minutes for consideration. Does anybody have any changes or additions to the minutes? If you don't, we can approve them all together. If you do, we'll do them individually.
I have one change, Mayor Craig.
Okay. Which?
December the 11th, the page, it says 189 at the top, work session. Last paragraph, I asked to save money, why would we have to do an RFP? And I stated if our town employees, and I was gonna say can do the work, but I didn't say that. But anyway, it says what kind of equipment will you need to put the trail in with?
Okay, we'll correct that in just a minute. Okay, is that the only change or addition anybody has? Okay, then I'll entertain a motion that we approve the November 28th, 2018 special call meeting, the December the 3rd, 2018 regular meeting, the December the 12th, 2018 planning retreat.
I move we approve the minutes as corrected.
I second that.
Okay.
You skipped December 11th, so I think the motion was to skip that one and then go back to
That's right.
correction, Mr.
So,
Bradley.
so we're just approving those out.
Okay, sorry.
All right, sure.
Didn't mean to jump ahead.
All right, who seconded that?
I second that.
Okay. All right, is there any further discussion? Call the roll, please, Kim.
Mr. Bradley?
Aye.
Ms. Quetch?
Aye.
Mr. Webb?
Aye.
Ms. Patterson?
Aye.
And Mayor Craig?
Okay, now we'll deal with the December the 11th, 2018 work session. Cindy, state to Kim what you're,
Okay, just after the paragraph, that's the last paragraph where it starts with Tyler Vinsel, Ms. Kingsley.
Yes.
To save money, why would you have to do an RFP if our town employees, and then I stopped and said, what kind of equipment will you need to put the trail in?
okay, is there a motion that we approve the December the 11th, 2018 work session minutes as amended?
Yeah, I'll
That's
make
correct.
that motion, yes.
That's correct.
Anybody want to second it?
I'll second it.
Okay, motion by Ms. Patterson, second by Mr. Bradley, to approve the minutes as correct. Any discussion? Kim, call the roll, please.
Mr. Bradley?
Aye.
Ms. Quetch?
Aye.
Mr. Webb?
Aye.
Ms. Patterson?
Aye.
And Mayor Craig?
Aye. Next item on the agenda is public comments. When you come up, please restate your name, state your address, and identify any organization. You're the only one, Rick.
I know, I guess. I waited. Anyway, my name's Richard Macbeth, 1139 Panorama Drive in Abingdon, Virginia. I want to wish y'all a great Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I wasn't here last time because I was doing, I'm very heavily involved in Boy Scouts and the Assistant Council Commissioner, and we had our Silver Eagle dinner. That's where we're bringing the most money that we can to support our council. and that was over at Marriott, Convention Center, same night, same time. Does it every year, so I never can make the December meeting. But anyway, I did get to watch it and everything, so, and I mentioned to Donna, I didn't know she was gonna retire, now I'm trying to figure out where I'm gonna take my lady. So, but I'm glad you retired.
Thank you.
Anyway, also you talked about the voting, and I meant one of the comment, it was near the end, and the comment made from the your interim lawyer, said that it is stated in here that no such ordinance shall be adopted between January 1 and May. Well, if you keep on reading it, it says May general election date of the year in which the city and town elections regularly are scheduled to be held therein. Town elections are on even years, we're in an odd year, so that states here you can take action on it. You don't have to wait on it. You don't have to wait till after May, because this is an odd year, there's no elections held for the town, so you can take action on this if you like to tonight. Because your elections are an even number of years. That's the only thing I hope you have a great time, and looking forward to this year, and thank you.
Thank you.
sir.
Thank you.
Okay, we have no resolutions, we have no petitions, public hearings, first reading of ordinances, we have no second readings, no consideration of bids. We have reports from the interim town manager consideration of dates for interviews for the town manager position. Council, please get your calendars out. As I understand it, Kim, you help me if I'm wrong, that the Bradley group would like to conduct these interviews the first or the second week in March, and like to do it all in one day. Is that correct?
Are you speaking to me?
Yeah.
I thought you said Kim. Yeah, I think it's the third week. Yes, Mr.
The third week.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we're looking at the third week, they want a full day.
Okay.
So Derek, you're the workforce in for the group, so. tell us
So, third full week, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
Okay. So I have the 19th, 20th, and 22nd. One of those is your pleasure during the week.
19th, 20th, and the 22nd.
During the week, no.
Okay.
You said during the week or on the weekend?
Mr. Rhythm.
If it's on the weekend, I have
They
that
did
weekend
not
off as
specify,
well.
Mr. Payne did not specify, the date. That, so I would assume that it would be whenever council can.
Okay,
So
I can do any of those dates. Al, how about?
It's okay with me, either of those.
Kim, you get to pick which day you want.
Cindy, why don't you pick Tuesday, 19th?
Yes. What time shall we start?
Well, we'll coordinate that with him. But I don't know when they can get here. I don't know if they're gonna spend the night or what. Okay, keep that date set aside, council.
Do we have any idea how many there's gonna be? I mean, we're gonna be banging one of these out
It seems
every.
that they're expecting 4 to 5, Al. Is what
Okay,
I remember them saying.
yeah, I kinda, that sounds familiar with. So it's not likely we'll be just every 45 minutes
No.
dragging somebody in. Okay.
Okay, consideration of dates for budget meetings. Kim got them, we need budget meetings in February, is that correct?
Let's see, I'll ask Chuck to help out here on budget meetings for department heads and others to come in and.
They're committing sometime that first week of March, if that's
First week of March?
First week of March.
How many days do we need?
I'd say you've done it a couple, Mr. Mayor.
All right. So we need 2 dates, the first week in March. And we'll start with Dirk again.
That
have a
actually
council
turned out to be a good week for me, so I've got the 5th, the 6th, and the 8th during the week. Tuesday,
Fifth,
Wednesday,
sixth,
Friday.
and the 8th. I'm all right with any of those?
Let's remember on the 4th, we have our council
Regular
meeting.
schedule.
Yeah.
Derek, how about you?
Well, what are you saying, you don't want to do it on the 5th or what?
On the 4th? Well, yeah, probably not on the 5th,
Like I
no.
said, 5th, 6th, and 8th are okay with me.
5th,
so
6th, and 8th.
however
How
you
about
want.
if it takes 2 days, how about the 5th and the 6th then?
Let's do it.
5th and the 6th?
Yeah.
Is that all right with you, Donna?
It's fine.
Okay.
Is that all right with you, Cindy?
I guess, yeah.
Well, if you,
Yeah, that's fine. I'll say
Okay.
yes, yes.
5th and 6th, budget meetings.
Chuck, would we need a separate, or, will we be able to do the non-departmental?
You
in the-
need a separate, this is just for department head presentation. Yes, you do need a separate date for the non-departmental, for everyone, that's the way it's typically done. And they usually do the non-departmentals over here.
Are we gonna go back to 5:30 on our regular meeting on the 4th, I mean?
Hold on just a second. Chuck, what time should we schedule? We can pick a time for these meetings, can't we?
Yes,
What time do you suggest?
for the department heads,
Yeah,
whatever works best for you, me and Mr. Bill will make sure we'll schedule them accordingly.
oh, you all schedule them for?
Right.
Okay.
So whatever works for council.
Okay, and then the non-departmental, when do you want,
You've been usually doing those, Mr. Mayor, in the evenings. At like 5:30. They come do the presentation.
5 or 5:30 in the evening?
Yeah.
I'd rather do it earlier.
I think we started noon for the non-departmental.
La-
the last
Last year,
couple of years.
non-departmentals, we did during the day.
Okay. We've done it both
We
ways,
started
we've
at
done it
noon and
night as well.
everybody.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was just saying I'd rather be fresh, you know, to work with numbers like that.
Can-
If they're wanting money, they'll show up. I know this.
Can we do that the 3rd week in March?
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Okay. Derek, what do you have
Works
a
for me.
date?
Yeah, like I said, if we're doing the town manager meetings the 19th, we could do the 20th to the 22nd.
Okay. 20th or the 22nd, is that all, the 20th okay?
Are we just
Yeah.
It's okay.
the 20th?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it looks like there's gonna be one week in March when I'm not gonna have a town meeting.
I know.
That'll change.
So you're going with the 5th on departmentals, right?
Mhm.
And then the 20th on
5th
non-departmental?
and 6th.
Oh, okay. I'm a little slow
March is gonna be a fun month.
today.
Beware the Ides of March.
I thought we were in March the other day, the way the wind was blowing.
Did we say noon on the, okay.
I think we usually start the non-departmental at 1 o'clock, don't we, Chuck?
Mhm. You usually like go 1 to
We'll
5,
just-
and
We'll just go ahead and put 1 o'clock.
Larger departments will take more time, smaller ones will take 15, 20 minutes.
What about a work session for March, just to muddy the waters?
We've got to set a work session for, we haven't set a work session for February, have we? When you want to do the February work session? Derek? Why don't we look at the week of, beginning Sunday the 10th?
Sunday, beginning Sunday the 10th. I could do the 12th or the 13th.
12th or the 13th?
I'm good with either date.
Let's do 12.
12th?
12th? And we start the budget work session at, what time you want us, at 2?
No, is this just a regular work session?
Yeah, that's just a regular work ssion, wait,
So,
it'd be in the
we're
evening.
doing before.
We know,
2
we've
o'clock,
been
2
doing
o'clock.
those around 2 o'clock.
Sure, that's fine. I I take that back, I'm looking at the wrong day, guys, I apologize.
That's all right.
14th is the only day I have off that week.
Is 14th all right with everybody?
I apologize.
It's
Okay,
fine.
2 o'clock,
yeah,
that's my bad, sorry, guys.
no problem. Al messes up all the time.
So the 14th, that's, February, right?
Yes.
Valentine's Day.
That's Valentine's Day. You gonna bring me a Valentine's Day?
Yeah,
We'll bring y'all that.
Thank you.
you want some more of those cookies I brought for
Don't-
y'all?
Yeah, don't forget it.
Okay.
All right, now we're gonna set a March work session. Week beginning the 10th of March. Derek, do you have, what day do you have in that week? Or do you have one?
Beginning the 10th, I've got the 14th again.
14th of March for a work session. Is that all right with everybody?
Okay.
Yes.
Is that a Friday,
It's a
It's a
Thursday.
Thursday.
Thursday? Wrong month, okay.
What time? 2?
2 o'clock. Okay. I believe that takes care of all our scheduling, does
Can
it?
we do April? Because I will have some things I need
I
to.
can't plan that for you. April,
To be quite honest with you, I don't know for sure my schedule in April yet.
that's good.
Okay.
I can guess though, if you want me to.
Do you think the first will be okay for the regular
Oh, yeah,
meeting?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, that'll be good then.
Let's look at the week beginning Sunday, the 14th, Derek.
Let me check my phone real quick just to see if I have it plugged in yet. You said beginning on what now?
The 14th, Sunday the 14th, beginning that week.
If nothing changes, I should have 16th and 17th off.
16th and 17th. Which do you prefer, guys? Doesn't matter.
Sorry, me, either one.
Cindy?
Tuesday?
Tuesday?
The 16th,
Okay.
please.
2 o'clock. Okay, is that all the scheduling now? Put the calendars up. The next item is discussion regarding amendments to the town's charter. I believe in our work session, we asked Ken Bell to research the charter and research the resolution that we passed. And if you, Ken, if you'll speak to that a little bit.
Yes, sir. In the resolution you're referring to, is directing the daily operations and duties of all appointees, department heads, and employees be under the direct supervision of the town manager. That was adopted July 2nd, 2018. And I think that basically accomplishes what the council was after. That it doesn't change the charter stating that council appoints these particular attorney, clerk, fire chief, fire officers, treasurer, et cetera, under the charter, but it does change, I think, was council's concern about who reports to whom, that sort of town manager and then everybody under town manager, but all those particularly identified in the charter positions all still serve at the pleasure of council, but this resolution changes it from day-to-day activities that they would report to the town manager. So I think that's what you guys had in mind. The only sort of sticking point in that, well, something to consider, I should say, is that it also provided that the personnel manual will apply to all those positions. The personnel manual, of course, includes a grievance procedure, and it probably wouldn't be appropriate for the town manager to do his own grievance procedure, his or her grievance procedure to himself. So we probably ought to make a change to the personnel manual to say specifically in the grievance procedure that those particular people don't have a grievance procedure, that they serve at the pleasure of council, just to make that clear.
Okay.
But as I understand sort of what council was after, I think you basically accomplished it with that resolution. And if we make an amendment to the personnel manual, I think we will have it all covered.
So you don't think that to do what we need to do, we need to change our charter?
I don't think so. You could do that, but I don't see any practical reason why you need to go through all that process. If the point was just to make sure that the town manager is managing everybody day to day and they understand sort of the hierarchy, but as a technical matter, those positions are still appointed by council and still serve at the pleasure of council, but they're not calling you every day about whether there's a fire.
All right. So, council, what are you, do you want to do? Al, you sent out an email and made a suggestion. We could do that, what you're talking about, Al. The only problem with that is that
Wait a minute. My idea was to make, when we appoint a new town manager, to make that person, he or she, the town manager and treasurer and clerk, and make that person responsible for those three positions, which he or she can delegate as they choose. And then that way those positions are covered, and anyone who serves as in a delegated capacity in those positions would report to the town manager and not to us.
But that doesn't cover the fire chief. We can't appoint the town manager,
They,
the fire chief.
the fire department elects their own, they elect their own officers anyway. All we do is bless that.
Well, no, we have to, our charter requires us to.
But they elect them when we just bless them.
You're saying the chief then?
That's not what we've been doing since I've been on council. We've been appointing the chief and the assistant chief.
And they're elected by the fire department.
But they're still council appointees.
Yeah,
Okay, so,
we just bless what they do already.
Yeah. I think you're both kind of right. I think technically, they're not the official fire chief or assistant fire chief until council
Right.
appoints them. But I think council, as a practice, has adopted who they appoint as who the fire department wants.
nobody ever recommended anything to me.
I think that's different. And you know, Mr. Bradley, I think what you're doing already is working. I think that probably adds something else that isn't necessarily needed. I mean, you guys can do whatever you want if you want to do that and delegate it. I think that's a procedure would work, but council appointing them directly and then the day-to-day activities being managed by the town manager, I think accomplishes the same thing.
Well, we can decide that, we don't need to decide that tonight, we can think about that if we want to.
Right.
And we can deal with that when we make the appointments, how we want to do it, so. But does everybody agree we don't need a charter change?
Yes, I certainly agree.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is discussion and acceptance of gifted property from John K. and Kimberly G. Nicewander, specifically 1.82 acres more or less, and being a portion of tax parcel number 105-A-35. Mr. Vivin.
The owner of the property, it's a triangular piece that he is wanting to donate to the town, and basically, I think the way we would accomplish that is through a lot line revision. And we simply wanted to make sure that council was willing to accept that. It would square off the area down on the sports complex fields, allow CHA to do some adjustments down there, and could possibly allow for an additional practice field.
Is this property separated from the rest of the sports complex property by the creeper trail?
No,
Looks
this
like it on the map.
property is,
It's just the very tip.
the creeper trail separates this from the rest of Mr. Nicewander's property. He said basically he goes over there and mows it once a year, and so it's of no practical value to him, and I think would have some value to the town.
So it directly adjoins the sports complex?
Yes, it's on the same
Okay.
side of the Creeper Trail. It's the-
Okay, I was reading the map wrong then.
Yeah, he has to cross over the Creeper Trail to mow that particular piece.
I believe that the sports complex consultant indicated that that property would be very helpful in the design of the multipurpose
Yes.
soccer field. Okay.
It kind of enables us to sort of sideways put a fourth field is what it does.
Okay, council, what's your pleasure? Do you want to accept this property? Or Cam, do you want to have something?
I was just gonna say, I think there's a little bit more groundwork to do to accomplish this, so I think the motion should probably be framed in terms of authorizing Mr. Vidum and me to do the paperwork and that sort of thing to get it accomplished, if you're willing to accept the property. There needs to be a survey, and we'd have to do a deed and some other things.
Okay, council, I'll entertain a
One other
motion
thing, Mr. Mayor,
Go ahead.
since these people are so kind as to offer us this free, we could volunteer to name the sports complex for them if they would like that.
Wow.
Might be asking for donations on the rest of that. Might be
In that
wrong.
case, we'll just
Might
leave
be
that
wrong.
alone.
Oh,
Forgot I ever said it.
All right.
That's a great concept.
Yeah,
Now you got your thinking cap on the nuts.
I do that once in a while, Wade.
All right.
I've got a little bit of a thinking cap too,
All right,
Mr.
go ahead.
Mayor. I think that's very gracious, and I'm so thankful for that. I do want to ask, though, possibly this question, for the taxpayers. Wonder how much it's gonna cost to move more dirt over on that field and get it built up to where we've got the fields, built already. I wonder is that gonna affect anything?
My understanding, and I'm not 100% positive, is that acquiring that actually would make it easier for Baker Construction, that right now they have to slope and stay off of that property, so I think it would be, wouldn't be a problem for them.
That was my recollection of what Mr. Steele said at that work session, was it actually is harder to do it without that piece, and that's why we approached the Nice Wonders about it. So, yeah,
Okay.
I don't think that would be a concern, but we could
Okay,
ask them, so.
all right. Very good.
Okay, then I'll entertain a motion, and Cam, you help me with this, that the town council authorize the town manager and town attorney to do the necessary things for us to accept this piece of property. Is that okay? All right.
I'll make that motion, Mr.
All right.
And
Motion by
I'll
Mr.
second
Bradley,
that.
Second by Ms. Patterson. Any further discussion? Kim, call the roll, please.
Mr. Bradley?
Aye.
Ms. Quetch?
Aye.
Mr. Webb?
Aye.
Ms. Patterson?
Aye.
And Mayor Craig?
Aye. The next item on the agenda is discussion of selling trolleys. Ken Bidham.
Don't know if there's any immediate action that's needed by council. It's been brought up that I think the trolleys, and help me Kim if I'm off base, are not operable at this time, have been a maintenance issue, fairly costly. And so the question was whether or not they are an asset that the town wants to retain, or would want to circulate. There has been some interest in those if they were surplus.
Do we have any idea what they're worth? Just curious.
Not offhand.
Do you want a trolley, Barry?
Oh, maybe. For the right price,
If, if council's interested, we could pursue it further and bring it back for for action at a later date with more specific information.
You want us to delay this?
Yes, I don't think there's any need to act on it tonight, but
Okay.
just, we can investigate the interest, the value, and then check with the rest of the town departments to make sure that there's no legitimate need to keep one or all of the vehicles.
Okay. The next item on the agenda is discussion regarding alternative election of mayor and council at November general election in cities and towns. Kimbo.
This has been brought up a time or two. I think Mr. Bradley had brought it up earlier, as far as whether to move the elections from the May cycle to the November cycle. The advantage of doing that would be probably an increase in the number of people who would come out to vote in the town elections, saving of the cost of holding the separate town election. And there may be some, I think that, if I'm not off base, the town elections are the polling places here at the town hall. And the other elections, the town residents vote elsewhere. And there may be some confusion as to people who go to where they normally would vote on the, like the presidential election, and there's nobody there, and they miss voting because they were supposed to come here. So there's, I think, a few reasons for considering it. And from my experience, if council were to consider it, I would recommend that you would look at doing it with the town elections held in the odd years and not the even years. That gets you out of the presidential election cycle and some of the other bigger elections that may overshadow the local issues.
Tam?
And we've talked about this before, the statute is 24.2-222.1, and there are, as Mr. Macbeth referred to, there are two ways to do this if council, well, one way for council, there could be by ordinance. And I think that's probably correct, that no such ordinance shall be adopted between January 1 and the May general election date of the year in which the town elections regularly are scheduled to be held therein. So I guess technically, this being a non-election year, the town could pass an ordinance this year if it desired. If council did not want to do an ordinance, the statute does provide a remedy, a potential remedy, I guess, to the citizens. That the registered voters of the town may file a petition with the circuit court that has to be signed by registered voters equal in number to at least 10% of the number registered in the town on January 1 preceding the filing. So there has to be a petition filed, then it goes to court. My interpretation of what the court, and there's a separate reference to just how referendums generally are handled. I think the court's consideration just would be, is the petition in the correct form? Are the people who signed it 10% of the registered voters? Are the people who signed it actually registered voters? And then the court would direct there to be a referendum to be held at the November election as to whether the town residents want to move the election day from May to November. So that's sort of the structure of it. Any questions about that?
So this goes to the judge, and if it's done that way, and if he determines that 10% of registered voters, then it goes to a referendum the next.
Yes, sir.
And everybody votes on
That's
whether
right.
to move this or not.
And I don't see, and I looked at this, there are referendums for other things that could be done. I don't see a provision in which council could actually say there should be a referendum for this. I think that it's either the council decides by itself that there should be this change, or the citizens decide that they want to have a referendum.
We can do this, just do that by resolution, is that right?
Just don't take any action, just leave it up to the voters to come forward with a petition, if that's how it works.
Okay, council, floor is open for discussion.
I think we need to be proactive here and take this on and do it ourselves. It's in the town's best interest and our own best interest to just go ahead and do it, I think.
I'm gonna say that, you know, I've done some research, a little bit of research with some citizens in Abingdon, and respectfully, I say that the town already has our way of our own election. I think that we're privileged to have an election the way that our elections are handled, and I see that you all are saying that there would be the odd year, so it wouldn't be a presidential election. If we had it in an even year, then it's possible that, I mean, it would be possible that there would be a lot of delusion there, so I wouldn't be in favor of that. And I've not heard anybody but one person, one citizen of Abingdon, Virginia, complain about this. Have you all?
I haven't heard anybody complain about it. I mean,
I haven't heard anybody.
it's
You
just,
mean the current way we do it?
Yeah, I haven't heard any
I
negativity.
haven't heard anybody.
There's only one voice that I've heard, and respectfully, again, I mean, I understand, I don't know, I mean, we would only be saving $2,000, and we have that already in our budget. And so I'm not understanding exactly why that this needs to be changed. I feel that if we are gonna change, I think that it should be done by referendum so that all the citizens of Abingdon can have a voice and say what they want.
I'm not clear on how this would actually be done. Abingdon's split into two magisterial districts, and will we vote with the county at that time, or would we vote at town hall? Does
No.
anybody know?
I can tell you how it works if you want.
Yeah, sure, come on up, Rick. Rich?
The way it works is you have a town code, and I work in elections too, so what happens was you go and vote, and they'll have a card, you get your town election, so they go in the front and says, okay, you're also in town elections. So you will have those town elections added to the rest of your ballot. And only the people that are they're actually registered in the town of Abington can vote for the town of Abington. And they're both at the high school and at the elementary school, and because that's basically where the town is involved. That's where the two districts are. And they will go in there, and when they come in, they say, yes, I want to vote, and they also live in the town, they have a town code, and then the person that registers gives them, okay, here's your ballot, and you'll have this ballot because you're in the town of Abington. It has everything on the regular election that they would have got from the county, plus also on the ballot will be the elections for basically either changes that we want to make in the town, or, voting for councilman.
Okay.
So that's how it works, and it's very easy, it's well done. You have, Damascus already moved over to it, you got Glade Springs, everything else, all the people around here have moved over to a November election. And this is and they're liking it, so it's a lot easier. So I'm not the only one that's saying, I might be the only one speaking out about it, but I'm not the only one talking about it.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I still have a few more things to say.
Sure, go
Mayor.
ahead, Sam.
Thank you, Mr. McBath. The other thing I would like to mention is we have had a good voter turnout. In 2018, we had a phenomenal voter turnout, more than we have in the past, I believe. So I think that's good. People are, citizens are paying more attention to the town council meetings, they're getting more involved. And I do feel that if there's any other election that we're gonna be involved in, like in November, I believe that's gonna get diluted in other elections for that year. Flooding, the television with national television ads, phone calls, mail. Not to mention that we do have an opportunity to have a forum for our candidates, specifically for our town council, and that lets the other citizens of the town get to know and understand what their platforms are, the folks that are running. So I just think that those folks are also very active. The ones that run the forum, they're active in the Women's League of Voters. They're active in a lot of the elections. They work the polls. They're certified poll workers. And so I just feel that it might not be a focused election on the issues at hand with our local government. And I don't want it to get diluted into the bigger government, national government. So that's where I think that our town deserves the attention that we're gonna give it, and focus on the council election separately.
Yeah, but you don't lose that forum, you still have the
You
forum.
still have it.
And so all that's still the same. The only difference is you're moving the date. So you will have the same amount of.
Would you come up to the microphone, please, Mr. Macbeth? I'm sorry, we have to do that for record
Oh,
keeping.
that's fine, no problem. But you still would have the forums. There's no saying that you can't have this. All you're doing is moving the date from May to
November.
November. Okay, that's the only thing changed. Everything else is the same. Now, when you look at we had a really good turnout the last time. We had about 1,000, but you have close to 5,000 members that can actually vote out of the 8,000 that are living here.
82.
Okay, you take over the average, you're looking very small numbers. That's one of the reasons why these other places went to it, because they didn't have enough to even they want to do a petition or anything else, because, here it is, you got a person running for office, and they gotta get 110 or 125 signatures, and they get, 300, 400 votes. And a lot of times, you look at the elections over the years, bar the other one, and the one, I think one of the main reasons why it brought a lot more people out is because of the Mary Meadows. That brought a lot more people out to vote, because there was a big thing. But on a normal, everyday election, because I ran in a few of these elections, and I've been around here for a while, and so will you guys. You can go back and look at the number of elections where you have maybe 300, 400, 600 maybe people show up out of a possible 4,000, that could.
Yeah.
And if you look at your November elections, your percentages are up in the 50, 60 percentile. Where you're down here, where you're looking at it, you got 10% maybe, or 20% of your population voting on who's gonna be running the country, the town. That's one of the reasons why you want more people actively involved. And you get people more actively involved when a lot of things are going on. There's so much stuff going on. And being only on Tuesday is very difficult, because you can still got school going on. You got a lot of things, people work-wise, or where you have a regular work day where you're voting, more people have an opportunity to go out there and do it. Or you do it on an off day, because I remember the days when a lot of people, when we had people go out, and you can probably make phone calls to find out if people have gone to the normal voting places where they said, well, this is where I gotta vote. And no, you gotta go downtown, and you gotta go down below. So, again, money's money, too. It's about $2,600 to run an election.
I thought you said 2 the
Okay.
last time, I'm
No.
sorry.
About $2,600. And that's just gonna go up every year, every time you do it. So that's money we can use for other things too.
You put that on the-
So the idea of,
Yes, right.
we're not losing anything
That's right.
by, just because I'm the person speaking about it, doesn't mean I'm not the only one. Okay, there's a lot of other people. For a long time, I was the only one coming out here to meetings, and now we got more people coming out, that's great. I like to see that, more
Yeah.
people involved.
Too.
But like I said, the last election, Mary Meadows was on the thing, that was one of the draw points for the last couple elections. That's why you had the numbers up. But on a normal time, If you get 300, 400 people out to election, you're doing great. Go back and look at the numbers. Thank you. You got any more questions? I'll be glad to answer them.
No, that's, I just wanted to know where we're gonna vote.
Yeah, that's-
We'll be voting at, if we change the election, we'll be.
Oh, you're voting your normal voting place, which everybody normally votes at.
Okay.
And it's done, you got a town code, and they give you just have a different ballot. You'll have everything the same, plus you'll have the stuff that's on the town ballot. Like I said, Damascus, Lakesbridge, all that, do it already now.
Okay,
Thank
Mr.
you.
McDonald.
Thank you.
Yeah, time to step up.
Still good, yeah.
What do some of the rest of you all think?
I think we need to go to November.
You think we need to go to November?
I
Dawn?
do.
I can see Cindy's point very well, and I can see Mr. McDuff's point very well. I do agree that it would increase the turnout, and I do think that would be a good thing. I'm concerned that this will encourage parties to become involved in local elections, because the county supervisors run by magisterial districts, and I don't think that it would be good for parties to become, Democrat and Republican parties, to become involved in town election, because I think it would take focus off the issue and kind of discourage people from thinking about the issues. And instead of, because a lot of people, I've campaigned twice, a lot of people ask, are the candidates Democrat or Republican? And I tell them, I didn't really know, so I told them I didn't know. But I know that there will be some people that vote strictly by party in a town election, and I don't think that's a good thing.
You have to vote as an independent, you have to run as an independent on the council. You can't run as a party. That's part of your charter.
I'd like for somebody to get the answer to that.
Yeah.
I got the answer from somebody else, and they said the parties can endorse candidates whenever they want to. That's the information I've got.
And I want to say that when I ran for council, I had several questions from citizens if I was a Democrat or Republican. And, you know, again, it's nonpartisan, and that's not the point here. The point is that we want hardworking, diligent people on the town council, whether they're Democrat or Republican. I don't think that matters. It's nonpartisan.
The last two elections, we have had focus on the issues, I can tell you that. I can't tell you how many people know that Derek wants a sports complex, and he swept the ballot. And so the issues are not Democrat and Republican, they're well thought out. And open government was a big issue when Cindy and I ran. So I think people in the last two elections have been focused on the issues, and I would want that to continue. I can't say that it would change. I mean, I don't really know, but I have a concern about that.
I would have to agree with that personally. I would hate to see it become a political race as opposed to a town council race.
It wouldn't necessarily happen.
I mean, I'm just saying, that's my personal opinion.
Oh, I'd hate to see it too.
Yeah, I would hate that
But
too.
it didn't happen with the master
Yeah.
Boy Springs. It didn't become political at all.
That's,
Well,
like I said, I haven't checked into those precincts. I'm just saying, in my personal opinion, I would hate to see it become, diluted as a party race, because it is kind of nice not having to canvass and being able to, everybody just sort of run on the same ticket. And I do sort of, at the same time, and I haven't said much about that, but I vote at Watauga because of where I live. And I do think that would take some of the intimacy away from the council-specific election if we moved it away from, I know it's kind of a pain to have to come into the middle of town and go underground and so on and so forth, but I'm gonna say I have to think about this. There's a little more to it than just, let's do this, it saves $2,600. I'm not so sure.
Well, yeah, you take a look at the numbers of people.
Yeah, I
that
think the
voted
turnout
in
would
20
make a
years.
difference, yeah.
It seems to me from a legal perspective, one, this is such a big decision, a pretty fundamental decision of change,
Mm-hmm.
that for the five of you to say, we want to change it just because we want to, and for, reasons. But the statute provides that if there is such a demand among the voters to change it, then the statute provides that mechanism. I'll say sort of as an aside, as a citizen, not Campbell as a attorney, that I mean, Abingdon has lots of great traditions, and council has come forward with maintaining those traditions. I think people coming to town hall and being involved just in Abingdon races and Abingdon issues is a unique thing that you should consider holding on to. But again, it's up to you. You can pass an ordinance if you want, but there is an alternative, even if you don't pass an ordinance, that if there is such an influx of opinion from the citizenry, then they have a remedy.
I agree. I think that the citizens need to voice their opinion. If that's what they want, let the citizens vote for it.
I absolutely agree with that after thinking about it. I don't think it's a good idea for the five of us to make that decision when there's a process that, where there can be a referendum. I think that's better.
Aren't we supposed to be leaders?
Uh,
Can't we step up and be leaders? Come on, Wayne. Come on, Derek. Cindy. Be a leader.
I'm being a leader, respectfully.
I just want to make sure that we think this thing out logically and rationally before we jump in and try to, that's just my personal opinion. I just want
Okay, council, what's your pleasure? What do you want to do with this? You want to delay it, or do you want to vote on it, or what do you want to do?
I think that, in my personal opinion, I think that we need to let the citizens vote on this. It's a big change. And yes, I know we're leaders, but we're the voice of the people. How many of us know how many citizens want this and we don't? That's not fair to the citizens not to let them vote on it. There's 5,000 voters out there. Let them have their word. Let them have their say. They pay us to do this. They elected us. Let them vote. It's their prerogative.
I see no harm in letting people vote on it, I mean, personally.
Okay, well, somebody make a motion and let's do something. We can delay it, we can,
Well, I guess we don't have to take action.
we don't have to take action tonight if you don't want to. We can delay it. We
I
can-
move we table it.
Table it for a while.
Okay.
Did
Make
you,
a
so
motion
you're
to lay it on the
seconding the
table, then.
table?
I move to table it.
You moved the table, and are you seconding it?
I'll second that, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, all right. Any further discussion? It's a motion to lay it on the table by Mr. Bradley, seconded by Ms. Patterson, by Mr. Webb.
Mr. Webb.
Any further discussion? Kim, call roll, please.
Mr. Bradley?
Aye.
Ms. Quetch?
Aye.
Mr. Webb?
Aye.
Ms. Patterson?
Aye.
And Mayor Craig?
Okay, consideration of stabilization and foundation repair for the Fields Penthouse, building. Kenneth Goodman.
Just wanted to update council. We did have a geotechnic report that was done with recommendations on the two-story section of the building on placement of the micro tiles. The next step would be to prepare an RFP for getting a contractor who would come in and actually put those in place. The preliminary engineering report that we got from Mr. Bundy gave a price, I believe it was $164,000 for an estimate for doing the work on that.
Okay. We don't need to take any action tonight, Ken?
No, I think one of two things, it would be either something that, if council wants to move forward with, would be an appropriation changing this year's budget, or else placing it as a capital item in the upcoming begin to work on.
If it's under, if it's $160-some thousand, you're under the 1% threshold, so you could actually do it in this year's budget without having to take any action whatsoever. It could be, handled just internally, if you get the work done this year. If you want to put it in next year's budget, that's fine as well, whichever preference council has.
Needs to come up to the podium.
Okay. Thanks, Chuck. I skipped over an item, I didn't have my glasses on. We have recognition of Emmett Urey, Dr. Ellison Conrad, Dr. James Moore, Mark Hurt, Betsy White, serving on the Fields Pen Committee. Cindy, will you
Yes, sir.
handle this item?
Certainly. And, yes, we'd like to thank, Mr. Emmett Urey, Dr. Ellison Conrad, Dr. James Moore, Mark Hurt, and Betsy White for serving on the Fields Pen 1860 House Museum to determine possible uses and suggested plans and repair to the structure. It was very kind of them to go into meetings and decide and discuss what to do with this property and how we're going to repair it. So it gave us, it was very clear, the report was very clear, gave us a basis to do something with it, and we're moving ahead with it. So I'm very, very happy that this is gonna happen.
Will somebody please send those individuals a nice letter and?
We've got
We-
it
We've
right
got
here.
one for you to sign, Al.
Oh, good, fantastic, you've already done it.
You wanna do this now, or?
Yeah, we can sign it right now.
Okay. This was Al's idea, and I think it was a great idea to get these folks involved, and they did a great job as far as I'm concerned.
They did a great job, and I'm happy that we involved some folks outside of the normal structure to help with the town's issues here.
Are we done? Okay. The next item on the agenda is appointments to boards and committees, Sustain Abingdon. Council, we only have 2 applicants. We can,
Old
Wait a minute.
business.
oh, no old business. No. And we got council member reports, but let's put that at the end if you don't mind. Let's get the business done first.
Okay.
We have 2 applicants for those positions. We can go in closed session and discuss those if you like. I personally don't see any reason to do that, but if you all want to do it, we can do it. You want
Fine.
to, okay then, what's your pleasure, council? We have, the applicants are Mark Doan and
Matt Dunn,
Matt Doan and
Anita Manuel.
Nita Manuel.
I
What's your
would-
pleasure?
I'd like to go ahead and do our business in open session if we can.
Okay. Is that all right with everybody?
Fine.
It's fine.
All right. I'll entertain a motion to appoint Anita Manuel and Matt Doan to the Sustain Abingdon Committee.
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Motion by Ms. Patterson, seconded by Mr. Webb. Any discussion? Kim, call roll, please.
Mr. Bradley?
Aye.
Ms. Quetch?
Aye.
Mr. Webb?
Aye.
Ms. Patterson?
Aye.
And Mayor Crick?
Aye. Council, we need a closed session to discuss a matter.
I'll make that motion.
Okay.
I hereby make a motion to go into closed session pursuant to the Code of Virginia 1950 as amended, Section 2.2-3711A3, for the purpose of discussion or consideration of the acquisition of real property for public purpose or of the deposition of publicly held property where discussion in an open meeting would adversely affect the bargaining position or negotiating strategy of the public body.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Don Fritsch. Any discussion? Call roll, please, Kim.
Mr. Bradley?
Aye.
Ms. Quetch?
Aye.
Mr. Webb?
Aye.
Ms. Patterson?
Aye.
And Mayor Crick?
Aye. Okay, going into closed session. Okay, council, we got some more business to do, so we're going to open session. We need a motion to go into open session.
I so move.
I
Motion
second.
by Mr. Bradley, going to open session, second by Ms. Patterson. Any discussion? Kim, call roll, please.
Mr. Bradley?
Aye.
Ms. Quetch?
Aye.
Mr. Webb?
Aye.
Ms. Patterson?
Aye.
And Mayor Craig?
Okay, Kim, do your certification thing.
Thank you. Whereas the Council of the Town of Abingdon, Virginia has convened in a closed meeting on this date pursuant to an affirmative recorded vote and in accordance with provisions set forth in the Virginia Freedom of Information Act. Whereas Section 2.23712D of the Code of Virginia 1950 as amended requires a certification by the Town Council that such closed meeting was conducted in conformity with Virginia law. Now therefore be it resolved that the Council of the Town of Abingdon, Virginia hereby certifies that to the best of each member's knowledge, only public business matters lawfully exempted from an open meeting requirement by Virginia law were discussed in closed meeting, to which this certification and resolution applies. In only such business matters as were identified in the motion convening the closed meeting were heard, discussed, or considered by the Town Council. Mr. Bradley?
I so certify.
Ms. Quetch?
I so certify.
Mr. Webb?
I so certify.
Ms. Patterson?
I so certify.
And Mayor Craig?
I so certify. Okay, we got a couple of motions. Derek, you got a motion to make?
Yeah, first I'd like to make a motion to rescind the motion that we adopted at the December 3rd, 2018 meeting to authorize the town manager to place the Summers Law Office up for auction and authorize the town attorney to prepare a deed with appropriate covenants for historic preservation of the building in the historic district.
Okay, we have a motion to rescind by Mr. Webb.
I'll
Is there-
second that.
Seconded by Donna Quitch. Any discussion? Kim, call roll, please.
Mr. Bradley?
Aye.
Ms. Quetch?
Aye.
Mr. Webb?
Aye.
Ms. Patterson?
Aye.
And Mayor Craig?
Aye. Al, you've got a motion?
In the interest of, the best interest of the town, getting the best buy, best bargain, best price for the Summers Law Office, and of not having a potential cloud of the title from the 4/5 majority question that we ran into. I am willing to change my vote on the Summers Law Office sale. Therefore, I move that the council authorize the town manager to place the Summers Law Office up for auction and authorize the town attorney to prepare a deed with appropriate covenants for historic preservation of the building in the historic district, with the understanding that the net proceeds will be applied to restoration and/or other renovation of town historic properties.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, motion by Mr. Bradley, seconded by Ms. Patterson. Any discussion? I want to applaud Cindy and Al for what they have done. It's in the best interest of town to handle this matter this way. So I would appreciate that. Call roll, please, Kim.
Mr. Bradley?
Aye.
Ms. Quetch?
Aye.
Mr. Webb?
Aye.
Ms. Patterson?
Aye.
And Mayor Craig?
Aye. Okay, council, we got one more thing. We need, if you want to make any reports, make them now. Starting with Cindy, doing that work.
Okay, Mayor Craig, thank you. I just want to say that I've been attending all my regular meetings and then some, talking to citizens, going to ribbon cuttings, and also continuing with my education in the Washington County Leadership Program. I'm proud to say that in April I'm going to graduate, so I look forward to that day, and I'm enjoying my time, and I thank you all for allowing me to do that.
Thank you, Cindy. Donna, do you have any report to make?
I don't have any reports, but I just also want to thank you for allowing me to serve. I'm enjoying this.
Al, how about you?
I didn't bring my December calendar with me, but I've been to a lot of meetings and done a lot of things, and maybe not as many in December as I have in past months.
I think you're going to be doing a lot in March.
I think I am, yes.
Derek, how about you? Do you have any report to make?
Don't have anything specific, but I too attended a lot of meetings and got to, I was trying to think back on days. Wow, the Christmas parade, the town Christmas parade was fantastic.
That's a
Fire
matter of
department.
opinion.
If you didn't
guess-
see my suit, you should check it out, because
Yeah.
Wayne's gonna wear it next year. But I do,
You'll have to-
I wanna thank everybody for the, the opportunity to serve.
Wayne, you'll have to lose some weight. Did Derek, did you and Donna not go
That
to
was
the,
ugly.
did you and Donna not go to Richmond to the,
We're leaving
VML?
Next week.
Monday.
oh, is it next week?
Next week, yeah.
Okay.
I want to make a brief report. Ken and I met with representatives from the county, and the county needs our help, or our cooperation in working with them on wastewater. They've received roughly $19 million in grant and loan funds for sewer improvements, and I expressed on your behalf our sincere desire to cooperate with them to make that project successful, and ask that they reciprocate when we needed help. And I think the meeting went very well. Mr. Vidum and the staff are going to look into the technical aspects of what the county's asking for and see if it works for us. So that's, it went very well, so hopefully our goal of increasing cooperation between the county and the town is moving forward.
Mayor, I
Wonderful.
think there was discussion also about probably in April, holding a joint meeting with the Board of Supervisors, where the actual amendment to the agreement would be signed by both parties.
Okay?
Sounds
That's
good.
my recollection also. All right, if there's nothing else, did I miss anything, anybody? Okay, the meeting's adjourned.
Happy New Year.